Good morning, and welcome to a special, I can't say the word special enough, edition of Truth to Power this morning. And I have some powerhouse heavyweights in the Treasury departments in 3 different counties in the great state of Michigan. We are represented today by Cass County, we're represented by Wayne County, and we're also represented by Washtenaw County. And to a lot of you that see this show, you probably recognize the young lady on the end. When I first started this journey with Truth to Power, she was my co-host before she became in the position of being the treasurer of Washtenaw County. And I will start, since I'm giving her such a build-up, and everybody knows her in Washtenaw County, and that is Treasurer Letitia Sharp.
Good morning.
Treasurer Sharp, it is great to have you back on this journey with me with Truth to Power today.
Good morning.
And thank you for bringing these other heavyweights in the Treasury Department.
With me today.
So I'm going to do this. Since there's a collaboration between the 3 of you, I'm going to let each of you introduce each other. So Letitia Sharp, I'm going to let you introduce that handsome young man that's sitting to the left of you.
Oh, well, you want me to introduce him or myself?
You can introduce, and I'll come back to you.
Oh, okay. Well, I would like to introduce the powerhouse of Wayne County Treasurer, Eric Sabree, right here to my left.
And Treasurer Sabree, if you can introduce this powerhouse to the left of you.
My pleasure. Introduce the Treasurer of Cass County, Hope Anderson.
And I will introduce my co-host. She's still my co-host. She's the reason why we have the theme song from Rome Lowry, who is the person that was one of the originators of the group Maze, along with Frankie Beverly. And it is due to Rome, who wrote that song. A lot of you asked me that question. Who is that group that's singing that song? Who is the theme song? Who is that? And that is TMF, The Music Forever. And it was written by Rome Lowry. And I always want to give Rome that credit because we are so very fortunate. And then also to your sister, who also was instrumental in that as well. And I'm going to let you, Letitia Sharp, the treasurer of Washtenaw County, give her a shout out.
Shout out to my sister, Carnell, known as Nell. She is very instrumental in that group. And definitely shout out to Frankie Beverly and Maze and the whole group and that dynamic group. Thanks.
Okay. All right. Well, I just want to, before we get started, I just want to do a quick we lost a pioneer in the civil rights industry, as well as a person who was a friend to pretty much like all of us. Jesse Louis Jackson, the Reverend, passed away a few days ago. And there are a lot of people that owe a debt of gratitude to Reverend Jackson. And I just want to, just say real quick before I get to my guests to ask them any reflections they may have about Reverend Jackson. But Reverend Jackson and I go back a ways because one of the things that when I first met Jesse Jackson, we were down in Savannah, Georgia. And he was a speaker at a conference that I belonged to, A. Philip Randolph Institute. And just a great man. I mean, everybody clamored to him. He always, I am somebody. And every time you hear those 3 words, you always think of Jesse Louis Jackson. And the other time that I came in contact with Reverend Jackson was when I was a judge at an oratory contest. And he had the different age groups at the African American Museum. And just the words and the inspiration that he gave to so many people was just phenomenal. And he and I also had the experience and the opportunity to cross the Edmund Pettus Bridge together. But just the powerhouse and everybody that really talks about Reverend Jackson and all the things that he's done when it comes to civil rights, he's irreplaceable. So again, our condolences our sympathies extend to Reverend Jackson, Jesse Jackson's family and friends. But Hope, Eric, Letitia, any reflections on Reverend Jackson? Either you can go first.
Okay, who can go first?
Either one of you.
I'll just say we did lose a powerhouse, as you mentioned, back in the '80s when he had his 2 presidential campaigns. Those were very impactful in my life to see an African American running for president of the United States of America for the first time that I could recall, and it was life changing for me. I was in middle school and then high school, and then, as you said, I Am Somebody meant something to us. It meant something if you listened closely and really took that in. And I could say it meant something to me. We did lose a powerhouse. Rest in peace.
Okay.
Yeah, I can say I didn't know Reverend Jackson close. I met him a few times, a couple of public events, and my brother Mark Humphreys was involved very, very heavily in his campaign for president when he won the Democratic nomination in Michigan.
Right,
He won
right.
the Michigan nomination.
Exactly.
And so also my wife's grandmother, Daisy Elliott, who was a state representative, knew Reverend Jackson well, and I kind of learned a little more about him through her because she had a lot of interaction with him over the years. And I remember when she was talking about the convention they had, the Black Political Convention in Gary, Indiana, how impactful that was.
Right.
And Reverend Jackson was a big part of that. So
Okay.
he was a powerhouse for sure. And every time you hear people say "Keep Hope Alive," that's Reverend Jackson.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Treasure Sharp.
And I think that we can probably all agree that it's folks that Reverend Jesse Jackson, that we stand on their shoulders for while we're even in these roles today, because they had the courage to go in spaces and places that was not always welcoming to people of color. And so I'm honored to have had that experience in my life, much like Treasurer Anderson. I was a young person, but to see someone that looked like me running for office, running for the highest office in the land, gave me the hope that, yes, we can. That came later on in our history. But actually, it was because of him that we even thought that we could.
Right.
Yeah.
Great. Were you going to say something?
Yeah, I wanted to say that, he did a lot of work with corporations, putting pressure on them to hire African Americans.
Especially in the automotive industry.
Automotive industry, and not just the low-level employees, but people, high-level executives, and people on the boards. He put a lot of pressure on them. He didn't have to do that.
Right.
He was set himself. He was just looking out for himself. He didn't have to put himself through all that aggravation that he took from people trying to advance our causes. So it's because of him, as Treasurer Sharp just said, that we are able to be African American treasurers in the state of Michigan today.
So well stated. Well, let's talk about the treasurers in terms of, say, I'll throw the questions out, and any of you can, jump in and respond to them. But one of the questions I wanted to ask you too is, when we're talking about the Treasury Department, talk about what the Treasury Department does in terms of, say, with the county government.
Well, I'll start. I'm new in this role, so I'll start. So for the last year and a half, or not a half, maybe a year and a few months, the treasurer's role from my seat has been to really serve as the county's banker, chief investment officer, tax collector, and then all the things like registering deeds and dog licenses and things like that we do. And that's not that's not a nice thing. People don't come to our office because they just miss us and we're a great place to be. They come to our office to pay taxes, right? But part of that, even in that tax collecting, I think we all have a heart across the state of Michigan that I have seen. All 83 treasurers have a heart to keep people in their homes. So when we say foreclosures and tax collecting, we're like, that's the last resort of what we all want to do. So for the good side of a treasurer's office, we are the people that actually is the decision between whether you stay in your home or not. And it's good to have a person with the heart to keep you in the home, to be in those roles. So from my perspective, I am so glad that God put me in this space, because this is a good place to be.
As I'm sure all of the constituents out there in Washtenaw County are happy to see you in that role as well.
Thank you.
Treasurer Sabri.
Yes, we're the custodians of the money, of the county funds. We're, as Treasurer Sharp said, we're the chief investment officers for the county. So we're charged with investing the money, make sure that it's safe, that it's available, and that we earn as much as possible, based on the laws that allow us where we can invest, where we can invest. So we also, we issue payments, make sure that the vendors get paid, make sure the payroll gets done, make sure that people get their jury duty checks when they serve on jury duty. All that comes through our office. And we work with the city, with the cities. We have 43 municipalities and 8 townships, and out of that 43, and the rest are cities. And we have to collect the money from them. When they collect their taxes, they turn it over to us, and we disperse the money to all the different taxing jurisdictions, the libraries, the parks, jails, wherever the taxes go, we have to disperse that money. So it's an ongoing process that we work with the different municipalities. So we have to reconcile the books. We have to make sure that everything balances. There's a lot of work in the treasurer's office. But most of our the publicity for our office is around foreclosures.
Right.
People keeping their homes, which is very emotional and it's personal. But there's a lot of work that goes on in the treasurer's office that people don't even talk about. It's a lot. We make sure that we have a lot of accountants. We have 74 employees in Wayne County treasurer's office. 74. Hope will tell you how many she has. So she's really working. Personally, the smaller counties work a lot harder than the treasurers in the larger counties. Even though we have more work, the actual treasurer does more because they have less employees.
Okay. I guess he did a nice segue to you. Hope Anderson, Cass County Treasurer.
As Treasurer Sabri mentioned, all funds that are receipted to the county come through our office. Every single cash receipt, before that money hits the bank, it's receipted in the county treasurer's office. And then we're safeguarding those funds, making sure that they are in the restricted funds that they belong in is a big part of our job. But as both treasurers mentioned, most of the public knows us as the delinquent tax collector. And that is a very important piece of our job. It's just but most of the work is done in foreclosure prevention, not the actual foreclosure process. So glad to have the opportunity to be able to share all that the county treasurer does. As Treasurer from Washtenaw mentioned, I love my job too. I really enjoy my job, and we, as county treasurers and as elected, the first black county treasurers in the state of Michigan, we're honored to be here today.
How does that make you feel? I mean, that's a legacy, Hope, Eric, Letitia, that you have, because there's a lot of people that probably look at you like, Eric, your successor had been in that office. Your predecessor had been in that office for a long time. And then when you ascended into the position, how did that make you feel?
Well, I tell you, I came over to the treasurer's office as a deputy treasurer under Ray Wojtovich.
Because a lot of people had a hard time even saying his name.
Right.
Because I would see his name when I would get my tax paper.
He was the treasurer for 39 years.
Exactly.
When I got there, he had been the treasurer for 34 years. So I was with him for 5 years as a deputy treasurer. And then when he retired, a retired Judge Richard Hathaway was appointed as the treasurer.
Okay.
And I stayed as a deputy treasurer. And then Richard Hathaway decided to resign, and then I ran. I was appointed and then ran. But I was really honored. I'll tell you, I enjoyed working with the people, helping them, finding out what we can do to save them from losing their properties, and I enjoyed doing that part. I had a background in dealing with housing before this. I worked for the city for 18 years in different departments, so I had a background in public service already, and this gave me an opportunity to do more. I thought to be more impactful with the people that needed help. So I was honored to be the first African American county treasurer in the state of Michigan. But when I look back though on the history of Wayne County, there are two individuals who, had they been able to do so, had there been an opportunity for them, they would have been the first black treasurers in Michigan, in the county. And that's Benjamin Pelham, who was the chief accountant in Wayne County. He was born in 1870, and he was in the early 1900s. He was the chief accountant in Wayne County. He actually had a newspaper. He published a newspaper in Detroit, and his son, another genius of accounting, Alfred Pelham, we called him a financial czar, a miracle worker, because he helped save Wayne County Community College from falling apart. It was in distress. He was the one who actually saved Wayne County Community College, along with Daisy Elliott and a few others. They kept it afloat. He became interim president of Wayne County Community College. That was Alfred Pelham, his son, Benjamin's son. Those two individuals could have been the treasurer, Wayne County treasurer, long before me, but they didn't have that opportunity. So I have to tip my hat to them, because they were predecessors.
And it's good to get to, especially since it's Black History Month.
Right.
So it's good to get that little note of Black history. Letitia, let's talk about you. How did you ascend into the position that you're in?
Well, I was elected in the November 2024 election, and but unfortunately, I started my seat 29 days earlier because my predecessor, who had been in the seat for 28 years, had suddenly passed away. So I was appointed to complete her term, and then I started my term in January 2025. But she was a strong supporter of my campaign, my candidacy, and really my career in finance and treasury. But what I want to say is, and I think it's important, as treasurers, we do not have the ability to decide like what group of folks we have to work with or who we serve, because regardless of what party ticket we're on, we still treasurers for the entire county. So I think it's important for people to understand who we represent. So in Washtenaw County, we have 28 cities, townships, and villages that combined. So there's 28 in my area, over 374,000 residents. And so, and I have to be the treasurer to all of them, regardless of their religious background, faith, party, whatever party belong to. And I think it's important for us to understand that. And we have to work with elected officials, regardless if they're folks we like, we don't like, that doesn't, we have to actually treasure all of that. And so I think when I said it takes a special person, and I'm sitting on two of the special people that I know, but treasurers to me are special people because you have to really serve in a space that doesn't require you to have your own feelings about things, right? You have to have a really special place for people. So in Washtenaw County, I say I'm a treasurer for the people because I don't care what religion you are. I don't care what you look like. If you breathe, I'm your treasurer.
Okay, now Hope, let's talk about how you ascended into your position and also about the counties that you served.
Sure. I was appointed the county treasurer in 2018. It was a sudden passing of our treasurer as well for Cass County, unexpected. And per the law, the position was appointed by the chief judge, the prosecuting attorney, and the clerk of the county. I believe they interviewed 14 of us and unanimously chose me in October of 2018.
How did that make you feel?
Great, it did. Most elected positions, you can run for elected position and not really be qualified for the job. Anyone can really run for a job, but I was proud of the fact that I was actually chosen by 3 county officials, and then I was elected then in 2020 and then elected again in 2024.
And you represent how many different jurisdictions?
So we have 21 between townships, our village, and 1 city in Cass County. Just about 52,000 people, so I'm the baby sister of the group here. But as Treasurer Sabri says, that actually means that I'm probably doing a little more nitty-gritty, work in my office. Happy to do it, happy to serve my community. But yeah, I'm in there day to day doing the grind.
So what are some of the myths that you hear about the Treasurer's Department that you'd like to dispel?
The main one is that we want to foreclose on homes. That is the main myth we need to just dispel. The tax foreclosure process is statutory. There's a law that governs it, and it's a 3-year process. And most of our work is in foreclosure prevention. And after
Did everybody hear that? Foreclosure prevention.
Yes.
So to prevent the foreclosure. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
yes, and I know I could speak for all the counties, but specifically in Cass County, I've been able to reduce our foreclosures from 2020 to now to under 60% fewer.
Congratulations.
It's a lot of work. There's a lot of complex situations that folks find themselves in. I can specifically say some that I've just come across this week. There's a gentleman who lives in Indiana. He owns a parcel in Cass County. I reached out, called him directly, and he said, well, I got the property from my dad after he died, but there's some people living in it, and they said, then they're squatters, so they have squatters' rights. I said, well, who told you that? He said, well, they did. I said, well, but this is your property. So he was going to let it foreclose because those folks told them that they have squatters' rights.
Okay.
I don't know if that's true or not, but this is his property. And I suggested that he reach out to legal aid. He does not have money for a lawyer, but there are some resources available to help him keep his property if he truly wants to. And he said he did. But we're 50 days away from foreclosure before he actually got that information. And hopefully we can help him navigate that and be able to keep his property. But that's just one of many situations. One other that I can think of right offhand, it was a 94-year-old widow, and I visited her house about 30 days before foreclosure, and she said, honey, when my husband died, I just keep paying this mortgage. I don't know anything about those property taxes. So her taxes were escrowed. Yet this.
When you say escrow, explain that to
That
we might
means
have
that
a few people who might not know.
Sure, that means a mortgage company is supposed to be paying those property taxes.
Okay.
Yet she was 30 days away from foreclosure. They were not doing their job. So it took, we went outside of our normal, be above and beyond is what we say. We go above and beyond to help people stay in their homes. And after a few phone calls, that company did come through and paid 3 years of her taxes, and she was able to stay in her home. But those are those situations where we're going foreclosure prevention. It looks different for every home, but happy to be able to do it.
Great. We got to take a quick break. We are joined here today on Truth to Power by 3 powerhouses in the state of Michigan. Cass County, that is Hope Anderson, Treasurer. Wayne County, that is Eric Sabri, Treasurer. And also Letitia Sharp, another powerhouse in Washtenaw County, Treasurer. We'll be right back. Stay tuned.
I'm Wayne County Treasurer Eric Sabri. If you're behind on your property taxes, we have programs to help. You don't have to lose your house, and you don't have to pay all at once. This summer, our mobile unit will be visiting Wayne County communities to help make it easier to start a payment plan and keep your property. Go online or call to find the plan that's right for you and where you can get help from our mobile unit. The last thing I want is for anyone to lose their property to foreclosure. Make your payments every month and keep your property.
Feel good about your future with tuition-free programs at Wayne County Community College District. Whether you want to be in healthcare, computer science, the culinary arts, digital media, or robotics and automation for the next generation of vehicles, WCCCD has you covered. A full range of programs to achieve your goals. fit your schedule and give you all the support you need to be successful. All of it tuition-free. Now there's something to feel good about. Register today at wcccd.edu.
Every Monday through Friday from 12 noon to 3 p.m., it's the Tavis Smiley Show on WHPR TV and Radio 15.2. Also seen on Roku, Fire Stick, Apple TV, iPhone, and Android. That's the Tavis Smiley Show on WHPR TV and Radio. Download the WHPR TV app for iOS, Android, and Roku. The Tavis Smiley Show, distributed by RJ Watkins Studios.
Justice for Mario Willis. Truth. Facts. Evidence. Matter. Log into justiceformariowillis.com. Read for yourself.
All media platforms are engaged. Copy. Get ready to launch your show or product. Periscope ready. We're 5x5 ready to launch. Copy that. Trend worldwide across all major platforms.
Ignition. 3, 2, 1.
The world is waiting. Watkins Broadcasting. More than just TV.
Block time is available. Get yours. Call 313-868-6612. That's 313-868-6612. Executive producer RJ Watkins. Program director Henry Tyler. 107.5 FM. WGPR HD3. RadioWeCanSee.com.
Watkins Broadcasting is going worldwide. Now you can watch Detroit's own WHPR on your TV from anywhere in the world. No matter where you are, you can stay in the know with WHPR TV and Roku. You can get your easy-to-install Roku box from wherever you shop for your entertainment gear. Once your Roku box is connected to your TV and internet, go to the channel store on the home menu of the Roku box. Enter WHPR TV in the search engine and add it to your channels. That's it. That's all you need to get the best in entertainment, news, and talk, no matter where you are. Roku brings all of your favorites to your TV. Netflix, Hulu Plus, Crackle, HBO Go, and now WHPR TV, Detroit Live.
313watkins.com. Streaming on Roku.
Morning and welcome again. We are on a very, very special edition of Truth to Power to really give our residents here in Wayne, Washtenaw, and Cass counties the opportunity to go and hear from their elected officials in the position of treasurer as to what the treasurers are trying to do with the residents in their districts. And now we just had Hope Anderson in Cass County to speak about what she does there with the foreclosure prevention. Remember the key words, it's foreclosure prevention and some of the other myths that they may deal with in Cass County. So now I just want to go and before we went to break to get to Treasurer Sabree in Wayne County. And Treasurer Sabree, if you can kind of mention what are some of the myths that you have heard in Wayne County regarding the tax department and the Treasury Department there.
Yes, like Treasurer Anderson mentioned, the myth that we want to take property is the number one. People say that they want to take my property or you're trying to steal my property, and that's absolutely not true. You know, we represent 1.8 million people. I represent 1.8 million people in Wayne County. I'm the treasurer for the whole county. And I tell people that because a lot of times people want to know, why can't I let them go without paying their taxes? Says, can't, I don't have the money. I said, we have programs, we have things we can help you with. We have hardship exemptions. We have exemptions based on low income that you can apply for if you don't have the money. We have payment plans. We work with people. We have thousands of payment plans. So I usually tell people that, I represent the whole county. I represent the people who pay on time and the people who are paying late. So you have to, if you don't have any enforcement, you don't have any consequences for not paying, then why would anyone pay their taxes? There would be no incentive to pay. And the services that the taxes pay for are very important. If we don't have the taxes, then you don't have city services. You don't have township services. So it's, people understand. Also, the interest is the other thing that we hear about all the time. Can't you get rid of the interest? It's statutory. It's by state law. And we have to charge the interest. We can't decide we're not going to charge interest. Because everyone will say, well, I'll pay the taxes, but just get rid of the interest. Because by the time the taxes are 3 or 4 years old, they're double what they originally were when the city or township sent them over to us. They come over every March 1st. The uncollected taxes from the municipalities come over to the county treasurer on March 1st of every year. So we're about to receive in about, 10 days, the taxes from all the municipalities that weren't collected. The uncollected taxes come over to us. And what we do, we go out and borrow the money. If we don't have it, we have to borrow the money and pay them 100% as though they collected everything. And then we go and collect the debt. And if we don't collect the money, then we have to foreclose and sell the property or offer it for sale in an auction to try to recoup some of the money that was owed. So it's a big process. So our goal is to try to avoid all of that foreclosure, sale, because that doesn't benefit us really, especially now with the law change that we have. We'll talk more about that. Where we have to allow people who lose their property to get the proceeds, excess proceeds from the sale. So it really doesn't even benefit us at all to foreclose because we're only getting the taxes. In the past, the county treasurer if they sell the property, we would keep all the money. But Supreme Court in the United States and Supreme Court in the state of Michigan said, no, you only get what the taxes and the expenses that you have for the auction and the foreclosure procedures. You only get that's all you get. The rest of it has to be offered to the people, the taxpayer who lost this property. And so there's a process. They have to file a claim. They have to go through a little bit. It's not complicated. Some people say it is, but it's not really complicated. It's a couple forms. And we've been paying money out. Other treasurers, Treasurer Sharp and Treasurer Anderson can tell you more about how that's going in their county, but we've been paying out claims for people who lost their properties. But most people that come to our office, they're not interested in the claims process. No. So a lot of them don't even file claims. They want their property back. And the thing that really puzzles me, I haven't figured out what's going on, but I see people coming in after the deadline of March 31st every year with all the money. 10 days late, 30 days late. Not only do they have the money for 2023 this year that's getting foreclosed, they'll have the money for 2024 and 2025. But you're 10 days late. So what I use an analogy, and I tell people, I said, if you go to the airport and the plane is supposed to leave at 10 o'clock, and you get there at 11 o'clock, do you expect to get on the plane? Do you expect to catch that flight that leaves at 10 o'clock? See, I said, why not treat the taxes the same way? Why not treat this deadline that we have the same way you would treat, you go to a concert, you show up an hour late and expect to hear the concert?
Or expect that the singer's going to play the songs again that they missed.
They missed. You don't do that. It doesn't happen. So don't treat our office the same way. Don't treat our office differently. Say, well, I just come in and ask the treasurer to just give me a break. And that's. But we have many, many options for people to save their properties, and that's our goal. We spend a lot of money. We spend millions of dollars trying to keep people in their homes. If we really wanted to take the property, we would do just what was required by law. Send out the notices in the mail, and be quiet if we really wanted to take property. But our goal is to try to save the property. We want to collect the taxes. That's really our charge. And if we don't collect the taxes, then the state law says this is what we have to do, like step by step, you know. And so the main thing is encourage people to pay, encourage them to come in, and as Hope Anderson mentioned, you know, we have a lot of people who have different illnesses or mental capacity problems. Then we try to find them, make sure that somebody's paying attention in our office. If someone comes in and it's obvious they can't handle their affairs, we need to flag that property because they're going to lose that property. And then their children will come in after the fact and say, you know, my mother had dementia, she was in the hospital, she didn't pay attention, she lost her property. So we try to spot people like that all the time. So that's a long answer, but
but it's a good answer because it's really what we do as treasurers. It's not, we just don't sit in our offices and wait for folks to come and collect taxes. It's all that pre-work that Treasurer Sabri said, that we have to knock on doors. We have to find people. We have to find family members, and we have to go out, and that vulnerable population, usually our seniors or our veterans or those who are just in that space that they don't really know what to do, we have to service them as well. And I think one of the myths that I would have to add is that once you get that foreclosure or that delinquency notice, it's the end all, I'm doomed. And that's just the beginning. That's when you call, you reach out, you come, you talk, hey, I'm in trouble, and look to see what options we have. And so the treasurers are not just folks sitting back waiting, like Treasurer Sabri said, for you to become delinquent enough in that 3-year process to lose your property. That's when you actually call us and talk to us and see what you qualify for, because we've had situations where a phone call, and I think we all know this across the state, a phone call at the last minute was the difference between someone losing their home that they have poured equity into just because they didn't pick up the phone, they didn't ask questions. And we spend a lot of money in Washington County. Shout out to my PA 123 team who spends hours, days knocking on doors and going to every extent to make sure that we at least try to reach those folks.
So when you talk about what is, I think Treasurer Sabri, you mentioned about what is too late in terms of say, what is, when you say you give them a deadline, you're talking about March the 31st, what is actually too late when you say the term too late? What is too late to a taxpayer?
Okay. Well, it's March 31st is a deadline. But, if you had a judicial hearing, you can get 21 more days beyond the March 31st. If you went to court and asked the judge to you wanted to plead to the court and say, well, I shouldn't be foreclosed, and you had a judicial hearing, the statute will allow us to give you like 21 more days.
21 more days?
Yeah, beyond March 31st.
Okay.
But that's only a handful of people that actually go and do this. So
is
the
it
deadline,
because people don't know that, or is it
actually, there's only a few reasons, like 7 reasons that the statute says that you should have to go to court. And maybe the Treasurer Hope Anderson or Letitia Sharp wants to weigh in on that. But if you go to court and say, Your Honor, I should not get foreclosed because I don't believe I should pay taxes. There's some people that come in and say, I don't think I should pay taxes. We call them sovereign citizens. A lot of people come in and say, we shouldn't have to pay taxes. This land belongs to us. It's our property. So they want to come in and say, we don't have to pay. So they can go to court. And the judge usually tells them, go talk to the treasurer, try to get a payment plan, save your property. They're not going to say, okay, you don't want to pay taxes, that's fine. That never happens. But some people want to go to court, and it's their right to do so. Mm-hmm. And then some people say, you know what, this is not my property, or this is the wrong parcel number, I shouldn't be foreclosed, or I paid the tax bill and I have proof and the treasurer's office made a mistake. There's a number of things that people can do. So they come in to court, and if they do that, then they'll have an extra 21 days. And but that's still just 21 days beyond March 31st. I mean, last year in our office, we had the worst year of people coming in late to pay.
Why do you think that?
I think there's hope that they can always, talk their way into extra time. Some people procrastinate. Some people just don't have the money, and they come in late with the money. But we tell them, all you need is a portion of the money to get into a payment agreement. And so come and see us before that. And what really gets me is when people have multiple properties, like 10, 12 properties, and then you're about to lose all of them. I said, now, you knew 6 months ago that you were in trouble. You could have sold one of those properties and paid all the taxes for all 12 of your properties or something like that. You got to have a little more planning, a little more, just a little bit more understanding of the process before you come to me and put the pressure on me, because now I'm one of 83 treasurers in the state of Michigan. If I start doing things differently outside the statute, then Hope and Letitia, they're looking at me, say, why are you making life difficult for us?
Right.
Because all the people now are looking on your website, they say the treasurer is giving them extra time, and now they're coming out of my office asking for extra time.
Because you gave
Because
them.
I gave extra
Right.
time. So I'm not following the statute, and that it causes problems for everybody around the state, because people, they watch and see what's going on. And it's not good. It's really not good, because it also opens us up for lawsuits. Because if someone loses their property, you foreclosed on time, somebody else got extra time, they want to know, why didn't I get extra time? So just anytime you have more discretion, you have more liability. And that's usually what happens.
Hope, I'll let you.
Well, remember, this is a 3-year process, not a 1-year process. They received, at the beginning, they received a tax bill from their local jurisdiction. If they didn't pay it, it's brought to the county. The county then sends out a bill. You're 1 year delinquent. On March 1st, we have to, by law, add a 4% admin fee and a 1% interest per month. That goes on for a whole nother year. At that time, if they don't pay it, then they're going to go into forfeiture. Forfeiture is not foreclosure. Forfeiture starts the 12-month process of foreclosure. But at that point, additional fees are added, because by your second year, we are posting on the property. Your name is in the newspaper twice. We've sent multiple notices by mail, certified mail. Again, posted on the property. We have to do a 40-year title search. There's a lot of statutory requirements for the county treasurer's office in that final year, so additional costs are added to that tax bill. So again, by this time, it's been 3 years though. And that, a lot of times on year one, if someone reaches out to me, we figure out how to solve this problem before it gets into forfeiture, before those additional $350 to $500 fees are added. A payment plan. If you can pay $200 a month, we can have this paid off. You can have it paid off in 10 months. Sometimes the light bulb will come on at that point, that they can pace themselves. There are some local units that don't accept partial payments, but I think almost all county treasurers always do. So we can help them avoid getting to that last year and getting so close to foreclosure that then you're coming in after foreclosure to try to redeem the property, because that's not possible. But we can certainly work with you all the way up until March 31st of that third year.
Okay. Letitia?
I was going to say, and do not think that again, like we said before, we want to take your property. We do not want to take your property. We want you to stay in your property, but we do have laws that we have to follow. And so if you know that you're in trouble, start communicating early on. But also, if you plan to Treasurer Sabri's point, if you have the money, pay it. The Washington County Treasurer's Office in any state, in any one of the 83 counties, we don't need extra money. We don't need your extra money. So what I mean by that is, don't wait till after the deadline so you're paying penalties when you had the money all along. I've had that. When people come in, they'll write a check, and I'm like, you had the money, you just basically gave us an extra 4% for what reason? So if you have property that you can sell to pay your taxes off, do that, because otherwise you're just paying extra money that you don't really need to. So I think education and understanding the extra fees will help people to really understand, keep your money. We want you to keep your homes. We want you to keep your money too.
Do any of the three of you, do you do like workshops to educate your, residents in your area? Hope you're smiling.
Well, I was going to add, I love when folks come in and talk to me, because we'll look at your tax bill and find out, well, why aren't you getting a homestead exemption? You're paying extra every year. You shouldn't have to pay. You should be exempt from the school operating. So we find many of those every year. Or we find out that they apply for a hardship extension with the county, and I find out that they're on a fixed income making $9,000 a year. The state of Michigan says that you are exempt from property taxes, yet they didn't know it till we got to almost a foreclosure. So we help them navigate the process of applying for a poverty exemption from property taxes. So it's always wise. We're kind of experts in this world. So it's always wise to come talk to us and let us help you navigate that. We have to balance the law with compassion. And we have compassion, and we can work with you, but you got to come in and talk to us.
So do you do any kind of maybe you have something like, I think, Eric, you may do something with like a town hall meeting with Eric Sabri or something like that.
Yeah, I do that. Like Ask the Treasurer.
Exactly.
During this time of year especially. We do about 7 or 8 a year.
Okay.
Ask the Treasurer. And people can, on a Zoom call, they'll come on a Zoom call. And I think the last one I had almost 500 people.
Wow. On the Zoom call?
January, yeah. It was a lot. And then it had some on Facebook Live too.
Okay.
But just people can come on and listen to what we have to offer, and then we answer about maybe 10 or 15 questions, but we leave the chat open so people can put their questions in, and then we get back to them. So we do some of those, and then we also go out to city council members meetings like we had this week. We had one in Dearborn Heights this week. We had one in River Rouge this week. Next week, one in Ecorse. So we go out this time of year to all over different cities and let people come in. We encourage people to use our online services too, and to go on our website. We have videos on our website. We make videos. I make videos all the time, just trying to explain what goes on and what people need to do. Because it's why should you have to come downtown, pay for parking? Some people driving all the way from, like, if you live in Belleville or something, you have to drive 40 minutes to come downtown to park, to pay for parking, which is expensive downtown. And our street is all torn up now on Monroe, so you have to park and walk. And when you can just do it online or go to the website and get the information. So we're trying to.
They have kiosks too, don't they?
We have kiosks, about 70 throughout the county. People can pay cash. That's the only place you can pay cash other than our office is the kiosk. Everywhere else, you have to use a card or a check.
Okay.
But the mobile office, we have a mobile office now too.
We saw that in our commercial. Yeah, so talk about that.
The mobile office was I thought about doing that maybe 5 or 6 years ago, and we finally got it in the budget. Our chief deputy, John Vier Adams, pushed it through, got it done. So we were able to go out to the communities now with our mobile office and do everything we can do in our office downtown, except to accept cash. We don't take cash, because it's not a good idea to take cash when you're out like that. We have to have a secure environment for cash. Right. So the public likes it, people like it, and we're just taking it around in the wintertime to different community centers and meetings just to let people know we have it. So if you're having a big event and you want us to bring our office to you, we'll do that. So we're trying to figure out different ways to reach people. And that's because right now, I mean, our list is still big today. And we're only like 5 weeks away from foreclosure. And we still have a lot of people in danger of foreclosure. It's going to go down drastically, but I'm always worried this time of year.
And I know, and I'm going to ask you, Treasurer, I want to ask Treasurer Spree first before I get to Treasurer Sharp. But I know Hope mentioned about her foreclosure rate. What is the rate here in Wayne County?
Well, ours has gone down drastically. I mean, you're talking about 80, 90% drop because we had 28,000 foreclosures in 2015. The year I became treasurer in 16, we had, I think, 14,000. Wow. And so now last year we had 2,200. But still, that's still a lot. And the number I look at always is the owner-occupied properties. Because I'm not really worried about vacant lots or abandoned buildings that we foreclose on. about half of those we foreclosed on last year were abandoned buildings or vacant lots. So I'm not really that concerned about them. But I'm concerned about the owner-occupied, these residential homes people are living in. This is their homestead. Where are they going to go? You know, if you foreclose on 500 homes, that's a lot of homes.
Yes, it is.
That's a lot of homes. You know, so what can we do to help people? Now, we had programs in Michigan. We had the Step Forward program. We had the Michigan Homeowner Assistance Fund. These were programs that actually were actual dollars. We're able to pay taxes. This helped us out quite a bit. And then we also had the exemptions that Treasurer Anderson mentioned, where people, if you're low income or you're 100% disabled veteran, you can be exempt from property taxes. So there are over 14,000 people in the city of Detroit that became exempt over the last 5 years. 14,000. Wow. And we still have a lot of people in trouble.
Wow.
So it has to do something with the economy as well. You know, the job market, the education level of the public. All these things are factors which weigh into why, you know, sometimes you have two incomes. People living, they have two incomes, they're doing very well. One person retires, one person passes away. Now, person gets sick that's retired. Now their money now is gone, like maybe from $200,000 a year income to like $50,000 a year income. So now they're paying money for medicine. They're falling behind on their home repairs. They're falling behind on their taxes. And so we have a lot of individuals like that who were doing very well for many, many years. Now all of a sudden they're in trouble.
Wow.
Their income is a little too high to qualify for the exemption, but they're not making enough money to handle their affairs, you know. So this is what's going on. We have a lot of that too.
Okay, Letitia.
And people are really struggling now. They really are. And to Treasurer Sabri's point, you at one time you could be doing very well, but because of millages that are now taxed to your tax bill, or because of some issue that happened on your property, you cannot pay your property taxes, you know. And if you have a senior who has to choose between paying property taxes or buying medication, which one do you choose? You know, our foreclosure rate is this year is really low compared to Treasurer Sabri's, but owner-occupied. I have 5 owner-occupied families that are in real jeopardy of losing their home. So my job is to try to see what I can do to reach out to those families. And surprisingly, that's not easy when you're trying to reach out to say, hey, before we go to court and we actually foreclose, can we work something out? That can be a challenge, because whether it's one occupied home or, you know, 50 or 500, that's still a displaced family. And where are they going to go in an economy where housing is an issue in Washington County, and I'm sure across the state of Michigan? So it's a real problem. It's a real issue, and it does kind of put us to Treasurer Anderson's point. We have to choose between sometimes the law and where compassion is, and that's why, you know, we are doing everything but dragging you down to the office and forcing your hand, you know, to sign a payment plan or some sort. So, yeah.
So do you do some things just like what Treasurer Sabri was saying about, you know, like you in the Treasury Department, or like workshops, or, you know, have town hall meetings or coffee hours or something like that with you?
So I actually look to Wayne County for a lot of my inspiration and a lot of my things because we're so close. And so we have some ideas in the making. And I'm starting to really vamp up our community outreach. So I got 3 initiatives that's on the fire right now, and it's Tea with the Treasurer. And
Tea with the Treasurer.
Tea with the Treasurer, and that's just to remind folks that I'm available to just come and talk to me about anything. So just tea time, basically. And it's geared towards really understanding what the Treasurer's Office does, what the Treasurer is responsible for, and how I can help you. And then the other one is Finances of Family Business, because I realize that a lot of people don't even understand how taxes are even connected to their regular household finances when they buy homes. And so just to kind of understand that one. And then I pitched this idea to Treasurer Sabri about kissing counties, because I was so amazed by his mobile unit, and we have one. I don't have my own, but the county has a mobile unit now, and I thought maybe we can, since we're so close, we can butt up to the county and do like a big outreach, so where we're letting the folks across the state of Michigan know that we're all in sync. All 83 of us are on the same page. And if we can get to places where we're sharing resources or connecting, maybe we can get that information out. And then obviously Facebook and things. So I'm trying to get more of community outreach, more of understanding how we do what we do and how we can help. So yeah, that is one of my missions.
Great. And that's why you were such a great co-host with me in the beginning. But we got to take a quick break. We'll be right back with Treasurers Sabri, Treasurers Anderson, and Treasurers Sharp. So again, we'll be right back. Stay tuned. You're not going to want to miss the remaining part of Truth to Power. I'm your host, Darwin Griffin. Stay tuned.
Clean up on aisle 5. Sounds like my life right now. Just one big mess.
What's going on?
It's my property taxes.
What?
I am behind, and I am so worried that I'm going to lose my house. I can pay some of it, but I can't pay it all at once.
Sorry to interrupt. I'm Eric Sabri, the Wayne County Treasurer. The last thing I want is for anyone to lose their property to tax foreclosure. We have assistance programs to help.
For more information, go to treasurer.waynecounty.com.
We're here to help.
From the desk of R.J. Watkins, this is a WHPR editorial.
I'm Ariana Watkins, and for decades, my father, R.J. Watkins, has served our community with quality radio and TV service through WHPR and Roku. Today, I'm proud to stand beside him, continuing the legacy built on trust, innovation, and your support. We're here because of you, and we'll keep bringing you the best now and for generations to come. Thank you for supporting us and growing with us.
This has been a WHPR editorial.
The biggest leather and fur sale is happening now at Begali Leather, where luxury meets craftsmanship. From sleek men's jackets to elegant ladies' furs, you're gonna love everything at Begali Leather. Every piece is made to impress, perfectly fit, timeless design. And right now, get 50% off. Yes, 50% off the entire store, including mink, fox fur, and premium leather for men and ladies. Direct from the manufacturer, no middleman. Only at Begali Leather. Unmatched quality and unbeatable prices at 8 Mile and Kelly and East Point.
Want to stay in the driver's seat of your health? My Mobile Health units remove barriers to getting prevention healthcare services. My Mobile Health brings free or low-cost services to local communities, so you can easily access health screenings, lab tests, vaccines, guidance, and more. We're paving the way to better health. See when and where we're rolling into your community at michigan.gov/mobilehealth. A message from the Michigan Department of Health and Human Services.
You ready to put your podcast on iHeartRadio? Yes, your podcast on iHeartRadio. What about Alexa, Roku, Fire Stick, Apple TV, Android, or iPhone? Plus live TV streaming. Get your podcast seen and heard all over the world. Call 313-868-6612. Pre-recorded shows are accepted to be archived. This is a WHPR distribution platform. Download the app from the App Store. Go to WHPRTV.com. Channels available for lease 24/7 on Roku, Fire Stick, or Apple TV. Coming soon, subscription and pay-per-view.
Also,
Block Time is available. Get yours. Call 313-868-6612. That's 313-868-6612. Executive producer R.J. Watkins. Program director Henry Tyler. 107.5 FM. WGPR HD3. RadioWeCanSee.com.
Justice for Mario Willis. Truth. Facts. Evidence. Mattered. Log into justiceformariowillis.com. Read for yourself.
.313watkins.com. Streaming on Roku.
WGPR Detroit HD3.
You're watching WHPS, Highland Park, Detroit.
Again, you are watching a very, very special edition of Truth to Power. I'm your host, Darwin Griffin, and we are joined today by three powerhouses in the Treasurer's Department throughout the state of Michigan, and that's represented by Cass County, which is Treasurer Hope Anderson. And we are also joined by the other powerhouse in Wayne County, and that is Treasurer Eric Sabree. And we also have my former, well, now I'm going to say former, she is still my co-host, and that is Treasurer Letitia Sharp, representing Washtenaw County. I want to ask you each a question. I know I kind of set the stage beforehand, and before we kind of get more into, let's have a little bit of fun real quick. But I want to ask you right now, and I'm going to ask Hope, give the one word that you would use to describe both Treasurer Sabree and Treasurer Sharp. What would that one word be that you would use to describe Treasurer Sabree first?
Treasurer Sabree, I would say leader.
Why do you say that?
When I came in Treasurer Sabree was just the president of our association, the Michigan Association of County Treasurers.
Mm-hmm.
It's the association that is amazing organization. We glean a lot from one another. You've got 83 counties, all different sizes, and of course Wayne County is at the top of that list. He gave of his time and his resources to lead our organization. And that was just last year he ended his term. So it was we were able to have one of our conferences in Detroit. It was an amazing opportunity for all 83 counties to come to Detroit and to experience and his leadership as he passed the baton to the next person. But I would say leadership because of his leadership in legislative and leading our organization.
Okay, and now if you can get a one word to describe Treasurer Sharp.
Treasurer Sharp, she is outstanding. She and I connected as soon as she became a county treasurer, and I so appreciate her. And she taught me a couple line dances. So we have a tradition now of every year we're learning a couple more line dances at our association, and we're teaching it to everyone. So we have fun to balance out the stressfulness of our day jobs.
Okay, and now Treasurer Sabree, I'm going to ask you to give the one word to describe each of these two ladies that you are sandwiched by.
I'll say Hope first. Hope, the word that comes to mind is diligent. She's very diligent. She's very detail-oriented and very, very, very strong in the job and what she knows what she's doing. And she's about to become president, actually, in August.
Oh, okay.
Of this year. She's the first vice president right now. She's about to become president of all the association that she mentioned in August.
Is that right? Congratulations.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
We had a great conference. We had a great conference in Detroit.
We
too.
really did.
We went to the Tigers game.
Yeah.
We went to Motown Museum. Went to the top of the Huntington building for lunch. And we had a great conference. Everyone got a chance to see Detroit. We had the Book Cadillac Hotel, so it was first class.
Yes.
And I was very proud of showing off Detroit. Yes. And now for Treasurer Sharp.
That was funny how you said. And now Treasurer Sharp.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes. I just say it comes to me is like amazing. The word amazing, because she's outgoing and has a lot of energy. And she tried to teach me how to do the line dance too.
With the fan too.
Boots on the ground.
Boots on the ground.
She's expert. She's expert.
She was here one time doing that same thing. So I remember that show, but that's another story.
But she's the official line dance instructor for the Treasurers Association.
Did she have a cowboy hat and the fan?
Yes, did. We had all of that.
Yeah.
Okay. Treasurer Sharp. Now, what's your comment in terms of say about them?
I'm going to say I came to the association. I'm a new treasurer, really green. But these two people here, these two treasurers here, they embraced me. They never made me feel like I was alone. I'm going to start with Treasurer Sabri. When I even first met him is when Catherine introduced me to him. And I was a candidate. And Catherine McClary was the former treasurer. And he had a long relationship with her over the years. And but when I met him, he was so willing to help me, teach me, always open for questions, always available. To me, I could have his number and even his beautiful wife. I remember her saying, we're going to schedule some time tomorrow so we can talk, so we can know what you're doing, So they were like, really embraced me. So for that, I just want to say, you didn't have to do that. So, and you did, and you keep doing it. Whenever I have whether it's in my mind, a small question, I don't want to bother him, he will get back to me. I consider you like the boss. I know you're no longer the president, but everybody goes to him for everything. And so I look at him as the strength of that organization. There's some great, amazing people, but I see that you carry the respect that they give you, and I'm just glad that I was somebody that could have that you lend that to me whenever I need it. And then my beautiful sister on the end there, when I first met Hope, I just fell in love with her. We just connected, like she said. She too just embraced me. I think when we first met each other and I said, hi, I was kind of shy. I was like, hi, are you Hope? She was like, hey. And she gave me a hug. And ever since then, that's how we greet each other all the time. So it's like a true, and the association that we're in, but these two here are like a true family for me. And I don't know that I would feel as comfortable to do line dancing or to do all the things that we do if it was not for these two people. So I appreciate you both.
Well, and I appreciate you, Treasurer Sharp, for getting the two of them to come today. Because, and the last time that we were together, we didn't have Treasurer Anderson with us. She had to call in and we had her on. But now I am so appreciative to you for making that trip to come that long distance from Cass County to come all the way here. And again, if I had my cowboy hat on like Letitia had and could put my boots on the ground and do my fan, I would tell you how much it is appreciative that you came all this distance. And I definitely pray for safe travels, back to Cass County as well. So again, my hat goes off to you, and I appreciate that. I want to ask you one other little fun question, and then we'll kind of get back to the matter of things with the Treasury Department. But Hope, I'm going to ask you first. Your mother, what would the one word be, Hope, that your mother would use to go and speak about her daughter?
So my mother was 19 years old and alone when she had me. I was her first child, and she didn't even have a reason to live, she said. And she took her 3 days of prayer before she decided to name me. And she said the Lord told her to name me Hope because she had hope. So that might be a little sappy and it might be a little deep, but my name meant a lot to her. So I wear it as honor that she had hope finally to live, and I hope I can live up to that name all the days of my life.
I hope you do as well. Thank you. Eric?
That's great hope. Yeah, I didn't know that.
That was beautiful.
That's beautiful.
And you guys were wondering, when I told you all I was going to ask you a question before we started the show, and I didn't want you to worry, especially Letitia, didn't want you to worry about the question I was going to ask you, but that was the question I was going to ask. And see, I didn't want to give you an advance information that I was going to ask that question. But thank you for answering the way you did. Thank you.
That's beautiful. I'm the oldest of 6 children, and my mother, she treated me like, the oldest child gets treated, always gets a little special treatment.
I was the oldest too.
So it's all my siblings. They always say, oh, yeah, you get special treatment. My father didn't give me that special treatment, but my mother did, and it didn't really hit me till my mother died of breast cancer in 2002.
I'm sorry.
She was 69 years old, and my sister died of breast cancer, and she was 27 years old. But my mother, when she was in the hospital the day before she died, well, actually the day she died, I think it was Saturday, she died on Sunday morning, she said to me something that was really interesting. She said, I was trying to go to hospice, but the doctor told her, no hospice for you. This is going to be your last day, probably. So she said, motherhood begins and ends with me and you.
Wow.
That's what she told me. Wow. And the thing is, she said that, and it was really interesting because when she passed, I was the only one in the room. My stepfather and my uncle and aunt, who came from Chicago to see my mother, because she knew this was her last day probably. They came from Chicago to see her. She was still alive. And they went to the house to take a shower and clean up and everything and come back. But when they were gone, she passed away. So it was just me and her. See, and so she said that, and that was really something.
Mm-hmm. So what would the one word be that she would use to describe it?
Oh, special. That's what she treated me like. I'm special. Yeah.
Okay. Letitia.
Well, I'm the youngest girl. My brother's the youngest of us all, but I'm the youngest girl, so I'm my mother's baby. And she, when I won the election and when I graduated from college and any achievement that I've ever done, she is my biggest cheerleader. And so she would, even now, at the age I am now, I'm still her baby. And so she doesn't hesitate to say, that's my baby. And so I would say the one word is proud. I think she's proud of me. I think that, and every day I live to make her prouder. Things I'd never want to embarrass her or to do anything to tarnish who she has placed me to be. I just recently lost my aunt who lived to be 101 years old, which is her aunt, my great aunt. And so my mother's very strong, but she didn't have all the advantages that I have. So I'm kind of living through them, through my aunt who only had a 6th grade education and my mother. And so I get to stand for them. I get to be in places for them. So I would say the word is proud because I'm going to always be her baby. And I'm fortunate enough to still have my mom. But yeah.
Well, we are very, very fortunate that your mom is still with us.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
And we know that you are continuing to make her proud.
Mm-hmm. We have this thing in our family that my daughter and I started, but we sort of say it to each other, whoever, and it says, as long as I live, my baby you'll be. I love you. And so it depends on who you're saying it to. So in my mom's case, I said, as long as I live, my baby, she always says, my baby you'll be. And I'll say, as long as I live, my mother you'll be.
All right. And that's the thing, because it shows treasurers have a heart. And listen to the heart that's amongst the 3 of you. And whereas people think that sometimes they may think that some people are elected officials, but they're heartless. But this shows the heart that the 3 of you have. And I can tell in the emotion when you were getting ready to talk about with your mother, and I can still see it in you, even right now. And when you talk about the compassion that the treasurers have for people in the community, you're not trying to take their homes. You're trying to give them the means to be able to keep their homes, to keep their property. And that makes such a difference to a lot of people that may be dreading that March 31st date. And it's like here, the 3 of you, and I'm sure that the other, in the other 80 counties are the same as the 3 of you, as well. So again, my hat goes off to all of you, and to make certain that whatever you do, continue doing the great work that you're doing and inspiring others that may come in the footsteps behind you three.
Thank you.
Thank you.
But now we get back to the hard questions again. So these aren't really hard questions, because the one good thing about this is that you are really giving a educational lesson to the people in your district. Eric?
Yeah, the hard part of the job is to say no to people.
Mm-hmm.
The hard part of the job is to say no. We can't save your property because you didn't pay the taxes, and you didn't take advantage of the programs we have. You didn't come in and talk to us. That's the hardest part of the job, to say no, to be able to tell people no. Because it's easy to be able to say, here, keep your house. That would be easy to do. Walk away and say, you know what, I don't have to worry about the law. Keep your house, pay whatever you can. But that's not being responsible as a treasurer, because we're responsible to the whole county.
That's right.
And they depend on us to collect the money. They depend on us to do our job that what the statute says we have to do. So we're responsible to everyone, and that's the part you have to remember. You have to remember. Sometimes it seems a little cold, it seems a little harsh, but we're responsible to everyone. And we get a lot of criticism. I give, especially me in the media, because I'm Wayne County. It's a large county, more foreclosures than 10 times the rest of the state combined, and so they'll say, the treasurer's doing this. He's heartless. He has no compassion. But they don't talk about the things that we do to keep people in their homes. And they never want to address the root problems that people have that cause them to be behind in their taxes. See, we're way downstream when it comes to the problems that people have. We're way downstream. The problems exist. When we say upstream, education, jobs, family problems. There's so many problems that people have that most of the stories that people tell us are true. Very few stories are not true. People make up stories, but most of them are true, because there's so many issues. Am I right or wrong?
You're right. You're absolutely right. You're absolutely right.
As a matter of fact, I'm fortunate enough that we don't have a housing agency in Cass County. So I think I'm shared last year that my office has actually taken on home repair grants, because, as you mentioned, some of these same folks that are having trouble paying their property taxes also have a furnace that doesn't work, or a roof that has a hole in it. So I have a natural, people of a natural group of folks that could use home repairs. So we were able to obtain some grants, and over the last couple of years, we've administered almost $1 million in home repair grants for the county. We're involved in a pilot program now that's going to be forthcoming for Cass County. So I'm honored that we have that opportunity, but as the county treasurer, like you said, we're at the end of this, and we end up finding that there's a lot more problems than just their delinquencies. But one last thing I wanted to mention was that some parcels, folks don't want to pay the taxes. They want us to foreclose. So every year you're going to have a group of parcels that are going to foreclose because they don't want them. They're not buildable. They inherited it, and they have no desire to. You'd wish they'd sell it on their own, but they won't. They'd rather have us do it. So we can never get that number down to zero, because you've got people that they don't want to pay the taxes, and they want us to foreclose. So you have to remember that piece as well.
And sometimes people will stay in the house and want you to foreclose, and then want you to almost evict them. So it's not like they have a place to go. It's like they're just going to stay there and not pay the taxes and not do anything until you go to that awful space where you might have to evict. Then that's a whole nother place.
Especially with the new law that we have, that when we sell the property, they can apply for the excess proceeds. So we basically become their real estate broker. So if you don't want the property, you just let the treasurer foreclose, sell it, take the taxes and the expenses that we're allowed, and then we get the rest. So you just let the treasurer sell it, and we'll get the money. So this is a common thing now that's going on. Some people don't want the property, let the treasurer sell it.
Yeah.
But here's what happens sometimes. I noticed that some of the financial institutions are, if you have a foreclosure, any type, tax foreclosure or mortgage foreclosure, they won't be able to borrow money for 3 years. You can't refinance. You can't. So even if you have a vacant lot and you want to let it go, just remember that if you try to borrow money, for the next 3 years, that foreclosure that you had, that vacant lot that you didn't care about, could cause you not to be able to borrow money, depending on what financial institution you go to. So that people found that out. I found that out from taxpayers who told me.
And some people find it out the hard way, don't they?
They go and borrow money. Say, "Oh, you have a foreclosure on your record." What do you mean foreclosure? Oh, that vacant lot that I let go. Yeah, well, that's a foreclosure. We count that against you. So therefore, you're not a responsible person. We're not going to loan you the money.
And foreclosures also disrupt the community that they sit in, So, and, whether it's vacant property or a property that had a family and now the family is gone, the house is now vacant. And it's been foreclosed on. It's not a quiet deal, It's like everyone in the neighborhood knows, and you might end up with a neighbor whose home was foreclosed on. Now, you paid your taxes, but they didn't pay theirs. And so now you have this in your neighborhood. So it's a neighborhood issue as well,
And when you talk about, like, if you see a parcel of land that you're interested in acquiring, what are the steps then that a person could do? I mean, do you have to check to find out if they owe any back taxes, or what's the process? That it may be different in your county or your county or your county, but what's the process?
That brings up another very giant myth in our world, that you can pay someone's taxes and actually own the property. You cannot. If you pay the property taxes, you will have no more interest in that property than you had before you paid those taxes. So you gave a gift to the owners, is what you did. That being said, people do that a lot. They do pay it, but nonetheless, that doesn't give you ownership. It would have to go to a public auction, and you would have to bid on it from a public auction to be able to obtain it.
Yeah, that's true. I had a case this week. A lady came in. She had children, young children, and she said, "My landlord has disappeared. Basically, I don't know where he is. I can't find out. I don't pay any rent. I'm down here because I saw the property's going to foreclosure, and I want to know how I can give." She said, "I want to file an adverse possession lawsuit to get this property." I said, "Well, you need to get legal advice, but I can tell you this." I said, "If you pay the taxes, you're paying someone else's taxes, but you're also preserving your opportunity to have a place to live."
Right.
So you got to make that decision. Said, if you can't find the landlord, we don't know where the landlord could be deceased. He could be in prison. He could be out of state somewhere. You don't know where this landlord is. You want to have a place to live, just pay the taxes, and you can stay there. But you have no ownership opportunity, as Hope mentioned. It doesn't mean that you're the owner. It doesn't mean you're going to get the property. He can come back tomorrow and file for an eviction and to kick you out after you paid all the taxes. So just know that you have a risk. You have two risks. What a choice. You have a risk. Either you pay the taxes and you have a place to live, or you pay the taxes and you're paying somebody else's taxes and they could evict you. You have to just make a decision. And that's a terrible decision to have to make. But people are living in that condition.
Yes,
they're in that situation right now.
Or
like
you
you
don't
said.
pay the taxes and then it's foreclosed and you
pay
really
the
don't have
taxes.
a place.
You really don't have a place. You're guaranteed not to have a place to live.
Right.
Yeah.
And paying the taxes is often much cheaper than rent.
Rent.
So it happens in all of our counties.
Yeah.
Okay, well, it looks like Tim is saying we got to take another quick break. This time is going by real fast. But we're going to take another break. We'll be right back with Treasurers Sharp, Sabree, Anderson. I'm your host, Darwin Griffin, and we'll be right back. Stay tuned.
I'm Wayne County Treasurer Eric Sabree. If you're behind on your property taxes, we have programs to help. You don't have to lose your house, and you don't have to pay all at once. This summer, our mobile unit will be visiting Wayne County communities to help make it easier to start a payment plan and keep your property. Go online or call to find the plan that's right for you. and where you can get help from our mobile unit. The last thing I want is for anyone to lose their property to foreclosure. Make your payments every month and keep your property.
Every Monday through Friday from 12 noon to 3 p.m., it's the Tavis Smiley Show on WHPR TV and radio 15.2. Also seen on Roku, Fire Stick, Apple TV, iPhone, and Android. That's the Tavis Smiley Show on WHPR TV and radio. Download the WHPR TV app for iOS, Android, and Roku. The Tavis Smiley Show, distributed by RJ Watkins Studios.
Feel good about your future with tuition-free programs at Wayne County Community College District. Whether you want to be in healthcare, computer science, the culinary arts, digital media, or robotics and automation for the next generation of vehicles, WCCCD has you covered. A full range of programs to achieve your goals, fit your schedule, and give you all the support you need to be successful. All of it tuition-free. Now there's something to feel good about. Register today at wcccd.edu.
Justice for Mario Willis. Truth. Facts. Evidence. Mattered. Log into justiceformariowillis.com. Read for yourself.
Every Monday through Friday from 12 noon to 3 p.m., it's the Tavis Smiley Show on WHPR TV and radio 15.2. Also seen on Roku, Fire Stick, Apple TV, iPhone, and Android. That's the Tavis Smiley Show on WHPR TV and radio. Download the WHPR TV app for iOS, Android, and Roku. The Tavis Smiley Show, distributed by RJ Watkins Studios.
You ready to put your podcast on iHeartRadio? Yes, your podcast on iHeartRadio. What about Alexa, Roku, Fire Stick, Apple TV, Android, or iPhone? Plus live TV streaming. Get your podcast seen and heard all over the world. Call 313-868-6612. Pre-recorded shows are accepted to be archived. This is a WHPR distribution platform. Download the app from the App Store. Go to WHPRTV.com. Channels available for lease 24/7 on Roku, Fire Stick, or Apple TV. Coming soon, subscription and pay-per-view.
Also,
Block time is available. Get yours. Call 313-868-6612. That's 313-868-6612. Executive producer RJ Watkins. Program director Henry Tyler. 107.5 FM. WGPR HD3. RadioWeCanSee.com.
All media platforms are engaged.
Copy.
Get ready to launch your show or product.
Periscope ready. We're 5x5 ready to launch. Copy that.
Trend worldwide across all major platforms.
Ignition. 3, 2, 1.
The world is waiting. Watkins Broadcasting. More than just TV.
Clean up on aisle 5. Sounds like my life right now. Just one big mess.
What's going on?
It's my property taxes.
What?
I am behind and I am so worried that I'm going to lose my house. I can pay some of it, but I can't pay it all at once.
Sorry to interrupt. I'm Eric Sabri, the Wayne County Treasurer. The last thing I want is for anyone to lose their property to tax foreclosure. We have assistance programs to help.
For more information, go to treasurer.waynecounty.com.
We're here to help.
313watkins.com. Streaming on Roku.
Very powerful lineup here with these awesome treasurers throughout the state of Michigan, from Cass County, which is the far western side of the state, as well as I could say probably the middle part of the state with Washtenaw County, and the eastern part of the state covers the waterways, and that is Wayne County. But we have treasurers Anderson, Sabree, and Sharp. But, we've had a lot of fun with this conversation, and, and what I really wanted to do was to give the public an opportunity to find out more about the treasurers and what the treasurers do. And the treasurers have a heart. And when I first started this journey with Truth to Power, I had Treasurer Sharp. She wasn't Treasurer Sharp at the time, but she was Letitia Sharp, co-host of Truth to Power, on the show with me. And, and she kept me always grounded. And I'm going to ask her again today to keep me grounded. And I'm going to ask her, too, to go, and I'm going to ask her, does she have any questions that she would like to ask her fellow treasurers on the set today?
Thank you, Darwin. In the spirit of Black History Month, and I'm hoping that we can do this annually, because last year we were here at the same time, and that's one of the reasons why I'm glad that all three of us could be here and here together. So in the spirit of African American culture and Black History Month, my question is to my two colleagues here: how does representation in leadership roles impact trust and engagement within the community that you serve?
I can say that's a big question, but first of all, I think people have to know that you care. And if you care, then people will trust you. If they really believe that you're sincere and that you care, that's the number one for me. If you care, they know people that know that you really care and that you're sincere, then they will trust you, and they will look to you for leadership. They'll trust you that you really are trying to help them. And I think that's the number one thing for me, is once people believe that you're trying to help them, then you can actually help them. Because a lot of people are afraid to come to our office,
right?
Because they have the same thinking that people have when they think they're sick. They won't go to the doctor. They won't go to the hospital because they're afraid of what they're going to find out. So people are afraid to come to our office because they're afraid, they're going to try to take my property. Right. Or someone's telling them that. So, don't go down there, they're trying to take your property. Well, if they trust you, then they'll come to get help. And so I think if they know that you care, that you're sincere, then it'll allow them to come in and get that help that they need.
Okay.
Yeah, the key word is trust. That was an excellent answer. There's a lot of people that don't trust government. They just don't. But the longer that we're in office and the longer we as public servants earn their trust and we're in the community, we can change that perception. I already see it happening in our county, and I'm proud to be a part of that.
And just speaking in Washtenaw County, I am a true believer that government is supposed to take care of its people. I mean, that's why we exist, right? And you're absolutely right. When you are faced with foreclosure or faced with any kind of tragedy like that, the person on the other side of the table, you got to feel like, one, they care, and two, what they're telling you is true, even if the news that they're telling you is not good. Like, if you don't do A, B, C, or D, we're going to have to foreclose. They can almost accept that if they believe that you're telling them the truth. And so I think that as public servants and as leaders, trust is at the top. Trust and honesty and just being a person of your word. If you say you're going to do something, do it and be fair. So color is shouldn't be a factor in this job, because if you're fair-minded and you do all those other things, it wouldn't matter. And we are representing the people, all the people in Washtenaw County, in Wayne County, in Cass County. So I like that. I really like that.
It was good. It was good.
Hey, I got my co-host duties.
Well, do you want me to let you do one more? I'm gonna let you do one more. Go ahead.
Okay, I have one more. So this one is just about personal preference. So if you could change if you can give advice, I ain't gonna say change. If you can give advice to that homeowner out there look in that camera and tell them what it is you want them to remember about this show. What is it that you want them to take, if nothing else? What is that one thing you want them to know? So speak to your residents in your county right now.
Help is here, and we are available to help you with your issues when it comes to property taxes. Anything the Treasurer's Office is involved in, we're here to help you, but you have to contact us. We're open. We're ready for you to contact us.
And Eric, I'm gonna ask you too, while you're speaking, speak to how can they contact you?
Okay. Yes, you can call us, the Wayne County Treasurer's Office at 313-224-5990, or you can go to our website, waynecountymi.gov/treasurer.
Okay. Now,
Just as Treasurer Sabri shared, we're here. We're here to help. Come talk to us early. You know, if 2025 taxes that are unpaid are going to roll to the county on March 1st. So this is the time for you to come and talk to me if you want to come up with a plan so that we can get this taken care of before it goes into forfeiture when you add in a lot of additional fees. So it's never too early to talk, but it could be too late. So come in and talk to me anytime. Give me a call. I'm present in my office and I'm available, and the people of our county do come first. So.
and how do they contact you?
You can contact me. My office phone number is 269-445-4468, or you could email me at hopeA@casco.org.
Okay, and Letitia Sharp, Treasurer, Washtenaw County, I'm going to ask you that same question you just asked them.
Washtenaw County, I am here to serve you as your county treasurer. You can reach me at 734-222-6600. My email address is treasurer@washtenaw.org. Like both my colleagues said, the other treasurers, we're here to help. Don't be too late. Just come. If there's an issue, there's a question that you might have, talk to us early. Talk to us as soon as you realize there's a problem, and we're here to help.
And I want to ask, I had somebody to text me wanted to ask you the question too. What happens at the auctions?
Okay. I'll start off.
Go ahead.
Well, we have properties that get foreclosed. The first thing we have to do is offer them to the state of Michigan. And then we call the right of refusal. They have the right of refusal. Then we offer them to municipalities. And then from there it goes to the county and then the land banks after that. They have an opportunity to pay the taxes to the county treasurer, and then we transfer the property to them before the auction. So this happens before the auction. So this is a very important point because the property may never get to the auction. Mm-hmm. So people say, well, I'll wait for that property to go to the auction, buy this property. It may not get to the auction because the government has an opportunity to take that property before it goes to an auction for their purposes, public purposes. But since the law changed in 2021, was it 2021 or 2020? 2021, which said that we have to allow former owners to get excess proceeds. If the government wants to take the property before the auction, they have to pay the greater fair market value, which is calculated by 2 times the state equalized value, 2 times SEV. They have to pay the greater amount of the fair market value or the taxes that are owed, the minimum bid. So most municipalities now, if someone files a claim, they're not going to take the property because they don't want to pay the fair market value. Mm-hmm. If they don't file a claim by July 1st, then the municipality may take the property. So that's the first part. Then after that, the properties go up on the website. For us, we have a website. We list all the properties that are going to the auction. Then we have an auction in September every year in Wayne County for the minimum bid, all the taxes that are owed.
Where does that take place at?
It's an online auction.
Okay.
It's an online auction. You register through our county website, and then you bid. And if we don't sell it in the first auction, we have a second auction, and the minimum bid starts off like $1,100. Mm-hmm. So then, what we don't sell in the second auction, we have to offer it to the municipalities at no cost. They have an opportunity to take the properties without paying for them, so they get them back. And then the land bank, they usually transfer them to the land banks from there. So that's a sort of a short version. Maybe a Hope or Letitia want to add something or subtract.
Well, just in summary, the right of first refusal, they do have to pay for it. They don't just get it.
Mm-hmm.
They have to pay either the minimum bid or, as Treasurer Sabri said, the fair market value, depending if the former owner did a claim for the excess proceeds. And then if the state of Michigan or the county or the local municipality do not exercise that right, then it will go to public auction. And then if it doesn't sell at the first public auction, it'll go to the second. In Cass County, the second auction starts at $100.
Oh, wow.
So there have been people who've been able to obtain a property for, a really small amount.
Mm-hmm.
And I encourage people to come out and buy property because there's no more property being made. So it's a good opportunity for some young people to get a piece of property and own something.
Okay, Letitia, anything different?
No, I'm just going to add to what was already said. But there is a myth that the properties that go to auction are these huge, big, beautiful homes, and folks can just get them for little or nothing, and that is so untrue. We've had folks who have bought property in an auction and then realized that it was just like a vacant parcel or a piece of land that they could never really build on. So I would say when you're looking at property, ask yourself, what are you purchasing it for? Because I would hate for anyone to purchase property in an auction thinking, oh, I can build on this, and find out that it's a zoning issue or it's in an area that's unbuildable. So that property, like I said, that's this big, big, beautiful home, and you can just pay the taxes for $2,000 and be able to buy it at auction. I just don't see that in Washtenaw County, and I've not heard of it across the other 82 counties. But yeah, just know what you're purchasing.
That's a good point. A lot of people go and look it up on Google,
Mm-hmm.
Google Maps, or they look it up online, and they see a nice house. Well, that may be a 2-year-old picture.
Mm-hmm.
It's better to drive by the property. Tell people, drive by the property, check it out, because sometimes we post a vacant lot, and it's next to a house.
Mm-hmm.
People think that they're buying the house when it's really the lot that's in the auction.
Next to it, right.
And so we end up, if we see this, a lot of times, if we see an adjacent lot next to a home, we try to remove it from the auction.
Wow.
Because all it does is add confusion to the buyers. They think they're buying the home. They end up buying the lot. We end up either canceling the sale later and letting the homeowner get the lot back, because nobody wants to buy a vacant lot and they think they're buying a house. And so we try to remove those before the auction to eliminate that confusion, because it happens every year. Sometimes you have a garage, someone will buy the garage. And they try to evict the people from the house. Say, well, what are you talking about?
You bought a garage.
You bought the garage. So he said, well, why would we buy a garage? So then we end up refunding the money from the auction and letting the person pay the taxes and get it back. So they just eliminate that. We try to remove those before the auction.
Okay. This time is going by so fast, and I'm going to ask each of you too, is there anything that's going on in Cass County that you'd like to speak to, Treasurer Anderson?
January through April is a very busy time for every county treasurer because of parcels rolling delinquent. We're doing the payout. We're making sure that budgets are met for every single taxing authority. Everybody's going to meet their budget because the county treasurer is going to make sure that they get all their delinquent taxes. So it's just an extremely busy time. And at the same time, we're doing foreclosure prevention. So I'm making personal visits during this time. On top of that, in Cass County, I was just presented last night that there is potential of a home rehab pilot coming into Cass County, and I'm kind of leading that charge right now. So that's kind of my other hat, land bank, on the land bank side, because as the land bank chairman. But we've got a lot of good things happening in that arena. I'm proud of the work that we've been able to accomplish in the county with home repair and blight elimination. So
I'm going to have you as my co-host on one of these shows as well, because you picked the next question I was going to ask you. What are you most proud of, some of the things that you've done in Cass County?
100% would be foreclosure prevention. That's what the public knows us for. They know us for foreclosures, and that we can work really hard and get that number down is a good public service. But also that I'm safeguarding the public funds. You know, these are public dollars, and we're making sure they're safe in a day and age where there's a lot of fraud and phishing and going on in banks and online and email, and that we have safeguarded the public funds by implementing safeguards like ACH positive pay and check positive pay, all those measures to ensure that every dollar of public funds is safe. And then my last would be our blight elimination and home repairs that we've done in the county. I'm very proud of our efforts in that arena.
And when you say about home repair, what do you do?
So we're doing roofs, windows, doors, furnaces. We just had a homeowner who's on a fixed income and his septic busted, and he has a family and very low income. So we were able to get a septic put in for him with grant dollars that we obtained. I had another homeowner who had traumatic head injury, and he owns his home, but he didn't have any water because his well was broken, and we were able to help him get a well. So, yeah.
Okay. Eric?
Okay. Well, I'm proud of the fact that the foreclosures have gone down drastically, and we've been able to educate many homeowners much more than in the past. That's one thing I'm proud of. Also, I'm proud of the investments that we've been making and how much money we're making for Wayne County. When I became treasurer in 2016, our investment income was $3.5 million, and last year was $76 million. And the year before was $80 million. But the interest rates are a little higher than they were then, of course. But it's because we have a full-time investment manager. That we didn't have anyone investing money at the time when I became treasurer. It was like a part-time thing that the deputy treasurer would do if they had time. They would do it whatever, because you're managing people and managing investments is two different things. It's hard to do investing when you're managing people.
Right.
You have to be available all the time when people want to invest, when you have investments come up. So we've been able to make money for the county, and that is not taking it from the taxpayers. We've been able to make money and bring it into the county so the county can do more with that money. So I'm proud of that. It's progress. Also, I'm proud of the staff that we have. We have really good staff, and we've been doing a lot of training and a lot of working on our procedures over the years, and I think it's really taking hold, and people are doing a great job.
Are you saying that a lot of people are watching your commercials that you?
I think they do, but I don't think the people who need them are paying attention as much as I would like. I think the people who see them tell me, "I saw your commercial." They're not in trouble. They're the ones they're paying their taxes. So I want the people who need the commercials to watch them and come in and see us.
I like that.
Letitia?
I am proud of my staff. Like I said, I've only been in this role for a year and a couple months, 3 or 4 months, and but so much has happened, but I feel like I hit the ground running. It was a little stumbly at first for me, but everything is in space, in the right place and space, and we're handling our banking, our investments, and our foreclosure preventions are really, really low. We continue to do that work. I'm adding some outreach, a lot of outreach, more educational type of things to our cause. But I guess what I would want the folks in Washtenaw County to know is that, and we didn't really talk about it, is that the Treasurer's Office, we had nothing to do with the millages and the increase in your taxes. And so I think a lot of people, when they got that bill, they were like, they were upset with me because they thought that, hey, the new treasurer, and for some reason, the new treasurer taxed everybody this extra money, and that's so not true. But that's just a chance for us to do that educational piece to kind of let people understand where those taxes come from. And so just more opportunity. But right now, I have a great team, great staff. Washington County is stable in general, and we have to make decisions. Sometimes we have to make decisions to not give surplus money or not do certain things, and that's not, but that's what the taxpayers have elected us to do, is safeguard money and keep that money and make the best decisions we can. So I'm excited and proud.
So, Eric, since they look at you as being like the big brother to the other counties, is there any advice or any suggestions that you would give to Cass County or to Washtenaw County?
Well, it's hard for me to give advice to Cass County or Washtenaw County for many things because we're so different. And when I go to the conferences, a lot of times, they raise issues. I don't say anything because their issues are different than ours. And like, for instance, like we don't have anything to do with dog licenses. All the other county treasurers in the state, they actually issue dog licenses. We don't have anything to do with that. All the municipalities in Wayne County handle dog licenses. Okay, sometimes the treasurers are really concerned about an issue, but it really doesn't apply to me because they have like 10 foreclosures, 20 foreclosures, and we have like 2,000, 3,000 foreclosures. So, but my advice I could give to Hope or Letitia or other treasurers is just how we do our outreach, how we reach people, and how we organize around that. Just making sure they actually are probably better qualified to talk about some of the day-to-day things that go on in the office than I am because they're actually doing the work. It's like Hope is doing the work that I have staff doing every day, and she's actually doing the work. I'm supervising, the staff, and my chief deputy is running the office, but Hope is actually doing the work, and Letitia's like right behind Hope because their staff is small compared to what I have. So I can learn from them on certain things like the settlements. When they settle with the communities every year, coming in March 1st, when those taxes come over, they have to do the settlements. They're experts at doing this. So I can learn from them. So I learn from them, and they can learn from me in terms of how we do outreach and how we reach people and keep them out of foreclosure. Because we have a massive operation to do that. So.
Yeah, because you do so much in Wayne County. But Hope, I just want to ask you too, in terms of say when you look at all the things that you do in Cass County, and is there anything that you do there in Cass County that you really want to get the residents to know that you do? A little known fact about what you do in Cass County in the Treasury Department.
I feel that it's important that the people know that they're getting their money's worth out of me. So I do speak a lot publicly. So I think I share pretty regularly at our Board of Commissioners meetings, at township meetings, because I want them to know what I'm doing. I don't want to keep it a secret. I want to be transparent. So I think we do a pretty good job of getting the word out there about what the county treasurer's office has done. As a matter of fact, sometimes we need help in some arenas because, as I mentioned, we don't have a housing agency in the county. So like that homeowner that needed a well, they also have other needs. We're able to coordinate the efforts of DHHS, Veteran Services, and the local township to all help with the other needs. Okay. So we became kind of the coordinator. We had some pocket of dollars, but we were able to solve a bigger problem because just coordinating all the efforts. And no one ever tells me no. They, if there's a need out there and I present it to one of our partners, I call them, they never say no. And that makes me feel good about my county, that we've got a county of people who actually really do care.
Letitia.
In Washtenaw County, we have a program called Home for Generations, which is a program that my predecessor has started and that we're continuing to build, and that's to try to help rightful owners retain the deeds. Maybe the grandmother owned the home, she deceased, and then now the children are staying in the home, but they don't have any rights to it. So we work with probate court. We have a probate court docket, and so that's what I find in Washtenaw County. So I have a staff of 17. Our foreclosure rate, like I said, we have 5 homes that we're looking to foreclose on, but it's small. But we put a lot of things in place to kind of prevent those things. And so I'm proud about that Home for Generations program that was started. I'm building on that. I'm going to continue to build that. We have attorneys who work with homeowners pro bono and that kind of thing. And so we have a lot of things that's happening.
Well, our time is up. Was there one last thing you were about to say, Eric, real quick?
I want to say we're copying that Home for Generations
Yes,
program that
that's
Washtenaw
great.
County has. We're duplicating it in Wayne County.
Yes.
Absolutely, absolutely. We have had a great time with treasurers Hope Anderson, Cass County, Treasurer Eric Sabree, Wayne County, Treasurer Letitia Sharp in Washtenaw County. And I know if you have more things that you would like to disseminate out to our viewing audience, please, open invitation for you to come back to WHPR TV, Watkins Broadcasting. So again, thank you to all of you, and definitely have a very safe trip back to Cass County. Thank you.
Thank you.
You've been watching Truth to Power. I'm your host, Darwin Griffin, and we will hope that you will have a great and safe weekend.